complaining about YouTube isn't new, of course, but recently, of late, we do have this, what could be considered crisis of titles and thumbnails constantly changing all the time, which has stimulated me and others to think about what really is going on with YouTube in a grander way. It's gotten me to recall some things that I observed over a year ago, and has me believing that there is some kind of framework that can comprehend all of these changes together. And it's good to enumerate them and regard them together so that we don't get confused in our argumentation. I wouldn't want to present all of these things in a diffuse and nebulous way, as I would if I hadn't collected them into a bullet-pointed list, really. But the title and thumbnail crisis is like every video by every major channel, every channel that's big enough to know better about this, honestly, changes like 6 times in the first week. And people complain, they say, it changed after I watched it, it was trying to trick me into watching it again. It changed after I didn't watch it, it was trying to trick me into clicking on a stinker that I already knew I wasn't interested in. Or, how about this complaint? Try this one on. The title and thumbnail keep changing, so I can't even say the name of the video to another person if I'm trying to talk about it, right? Like, what if I wanted to, cite a YouTube video in an academic paper, and it just so happened to be one of these mutating, shifting, uncertain, week-old videos where the title just keeps changing every time you refresh the page or open a new tab or whatever. I dare say that is anti-intellectual. Names exist for a reason. That is my contention. They exist to name things. That is the job of a title. YouTube giving an official endorsement to this already really annoying practice of changing the title constantly by allowing a video to actually have multiple titles at the same time that get shown differently to different people is the modern day Tower of Babel. Like, we've got to be real about that. This crisis is like the more big YouTubers keep doing this, the more people are gonna install D-Arrow, which I find distasteful. D-Arrow is always tampering with the creative expression of YouTubers whose thumbnails were fine to begin with and didn't need to be changed. Right, the community editors are overzealous, right? But D-Arrow might be distasteful, but it might also become necessary in the future if things keep going this way. Who knows? Anyway, this wasn't even the first thing I noticed that drew my attention to the constellation of behavior I'm about to consider here. The Brainrot by design, or maybe I'll call it 5 reasons why it's hard to take YouTube seriously in 2025. But the first thing I noticed was when the number of columns in my homepage went from 4 to 3. Previously it had been 5, and the change from 5 to 4 was not so noticeable. But the change from 4 to 3 was very noticeable, and it got me worried. As soon as I witnessed this, I just predicted that one day it was going to go down to 2. And eventually it did, and then they rolled that back because, well, that's another thing. But the first thing is, this is one of the 5 design anti-patterns or whatever it's called, that I want to complain about. I'm calling this horse blinders. Having everything be large, having content take up the whole screen, all the way to the edge of the screen that's like up to the bevel of your phone, and it goes around the camera. It makes you feel like you can't escape. It gives you tunnel vision. And let's talk about shorts. Everyone treats shorts as a stage in the evolution of YouTube as a platform, as if this is new technology or an innovation. But it's not new technology. A short is just a video in portrait mode. That's not special. Why are we ascribing such grand significance to YouTube inventing a portrait mode video? Well, I think the significance of shorts is that they are a horse blinders feature. The intended way of using shorts is on mobile, and you tap on one that's in your recommended and you watch it like a normal video, and then YouTube will ever so helpfully remind you that you swipe up to see the next video. And if you're me, you're thinking, what the hell do you mean, next video? What does that mean? This isn't a playlist. What do you mean, the next video? What it means is that shorts are single file. It's not 3 columns. It's not 2 columns. It's 1 column taking up the whole screen. So there's no way to get anywhere except by going through the tunnel of content that YouTube has set up for you. And, people who use shorts habitually, they're swiping through it like it's Tinder. Just swipe, swipe, swipe. Give me the thing. Give me an interesting recommendation, right? It's terrible. The only way I can mentally cope with shorts at all is by insisting that I treat them like normal videos. And so that swiping up thing on mobile is off limits. That's something I won't allow myself to do. The second thing, I think, is destabilizing the UI, making it change all the time, more than should be necessary. Like, we all know that YouTube and every website looks different now from how it looked in 2007, and that's okay and to be expected. But whenever there's a change to the user interface, people complain that it's an unnecessary change. No one asked for this. Why did you add magenta to the play bar? Why did you make the buttons big? No one asked for this, and so on. The fact is that there have been multiple cycles of this at this point, and each of these changes is like burying the memory of the previous change. Like, remember 8 years ago when Polymer was the new version of the user interface that everyone hated and figured out how to roll back for as long as that was possible? Well, now Polymer is like the old interface that people miss because there's an even newer, even worse interface coming along now. Like, there's no stability. And I feel like the constant changes that you notice, especially when you open a private window and the columns are different, and the buttons underneath the video that say like share and save and clip are different, and they're broken, and they overlap the like bar and all of that stuff. And all of these changes that then get reverted in a week. And by the way, is that A/B testing? The fact that it looks different in a private window? What are they testing? Are they testing whether you just rage quit your browsing session because the interface is bad? Like, how are you supposed to, through the way you use the page, give feedback to the YouTube team that says anything about whether this feature is good or not? What are they even testing? I don't understand that. But all of these changes, I think, have the effect of eroding our memories. Like, it's such a heap, a pile of these annoyances that's built up over the years, obscuring our vision of the past that might otherwise have been clear. Like, I was on YouTube. I watched YouTube in 2009, but I can't really say I vividly remember how it looked because of how many changes there have been between then and now. It's like I was there in 2009, but what do I have to show for it? Number 3 is burying useful features and urging the user to give up control of the experience, browsing, surfing, however it will be. The recommendation bar has always been an element that contributes to this. It's always been inclined in that direction. And so we see YouTube push further in this direction by emphasizing the recommendation bar more and more. The home page over the subscriptions and so on. Or how about this most egregious fact that if you search for something nowadays, you get like 5 attempts at search results, and then it just goes back to homepage recommendations, as if those have any place at all in a search where you're looking for something specific, using keywords, maybe even the exact words of the title that you remember, and you won't get the video. So the thing about recommendations, right, the sidebar, is it's fickle, but it doesn't have to be. It doesn't have to be fickle, but it is, and I contend that it is by design. Because there's no way YouTube's search is this bad by accident. It's this bad on purpose, and so I would assume that the way recommendations on the side of a video is also on purpose when it's to the same effect. Which is making you feel like you're in the ocean clinging to a single piece of driftwood if you try to have any intentionality in where you go on YouTube. The recommendations on the side of the video are generated through some occult process when you load the page. And if you, say, click on one of them, but then at that moment another one catches your eye and you want to see that as well, maybe cue it. But it's too late, the page is loading. I have to go back, hit the back button, and just, pray that they don't get all regenerated or rearranged to the point where you can't find the thing that you saw half a second ago. And it's like, oh no, did I remember the name? I could try looking it up. It's like, no. YouTube doesn't want you to be able to choose what you're watching. The overemphasis of the sidebar and the fact that it scrambles itself every time you navigate in any way. Meaning you can't rely on the things that you see right now to continue to be there. And again, the fact that the search feature has been gimped and so on. That's that. Burying useful features, though. Did I have an example of that? I should think. Well, maybe we can have a moment of silence for the annotation, the video reply, and the community submitted translated subtitles. Yeah? Number 4 is homogenization between the pages on the site. And this one's a little quirky theory of mine. But apparently, according to the archives, back in, I said 2009, right? Back then, channel pages looked a lot different. Not different from now, but different from each other. Seemingly, they had custom styles, although I didn't inspect element on these pages to make sure of that. But the screenshots I've seen definitely look like custom CSS, and that's the vision of the web right there. Owning a page. Whatever happened to owning a page? It's inconsistent with YouTube's branding, I suppose. But I feel like there's a certain intellectual significance to allowing the creators to look like they own the pages that they maintain, which is that it gives the impression that they own their pages, which is YouTube's official stance about the matter still today. There are rules for comment sections, which are rules put forward by the creators maintaining those comment sections. And YouTube says this is the official reason, right, for all of the spam comments, the deluge of comments that overwhelm large channels, who then complain about the lack of moderation of those spam comments. But YouTube says that creators own their pages, and so creators are supposed to moderate their own comments. Well, this is tenuous, but I feel like we've lost a lot of the sense of creators owning their pages by the fact that, well, they're not allowed to do anything with the page that makes it look like they own it. All of it is under the yoke of the visual style of YouTube. It's all the same. You can hardly tell whether you're on the home page or the subscriptions page, except for a single video from a channel that just stands out and gives it away which one you're on. I would hypothesize that, and this is important for the surfing experience, that the psychological barriers between different pages or different sites matter. And if YouTube is trying to make it easier to drift around and wander aimlessly through, to tread water through this whole system by making it homogeneous, that is eroding these psychological barriers that would make it feel like you have entered into a different space of some sort and that your attitude should change. Check your attitude at the door. That, just that you should feel any differently about where you are or what you're engaging with, depending on where you have actually gone. YouTube wants it to feel all the same. And so people are going to bring their default attitudes everywhere where those attitudes are unwelcome. And maybe this is the cause of toxicity on the platform, but that's an hypothesis, and this really sounds like the kind of thing where there should be a sociological research study on this, because it's definitely not obvious, unlike a lot of other things that get researched. So give that a try. Number 5, sort of the encapsulation or the resolution of all of this. Skimming features, yeah? It's like, there's all this brain rot on our platform now. What do we do about it? We have to contain the brain rot somehow. We have to give people the tools to bypass the brain rot. And that looks like things such as this press and hold on the video, like click and hold to just start fast forwarding it, and the AI summary that goes under the description, and the AI ask feature. And I don't hate those, except for the fast forwarding, but we have to admit that they do assist the viewer in not watching the video. And it's weird that there are things on YouTube whose job is to help you not watch the video that you're watching. Well, you could say it's important to be discerning. It's important to know what to give your time to. So you try before you buy, right? Oh, and another one is the follow along with the transcript, where you can scroll through and read the automatic captions that are barely intelligible, but that is often a way to preview a video. And if you just feel for some reason like you don't really want to watch it, but you want to make sure that it does or doesn't mention some certain thing, yeah, you read the transcript. So you could say that. You could say it's tools to help you be discerning about what you watch. But also, it could be tools to help you not engage with anything and be aloof. And I mean, what's evidence for that interpretation? How about the sharpening filter that's recently been put on shorts? And what's the reason for that? What made someone at YouTube think shorts equals sharpen filter? Where's the connection? That's just as crazy as shorts equals technological innovation, in my view. People have been complaining about that. Automatic translating of videos into your system language, including these voiceover tracks that sound terrible. Everyone complains about that. And then there's the stable audio compression feature that was enabled by default without telling you, that ASMR YouTubers were complaining about. And all of these things, they're going to make the video uglier. They're going to make the video not be what was uploaded. They're going to divorce you from accessing the video as it is supposed to be. they're layers getting in the way of the interaction between you and the video. And they're gonna give you an aloof attitude. Aloofness. Like, oh, every single thing I see is just mildly uncomfortable to look at now, so I'll just pay less attention, and I'll swipe more, and I'll use shorts the way YouTube wants me to use shorts. I'm just swiping now. It's less satisfying, and so it's more addictive, and so you probably tab out and then back into the app more often to keep swiping more, because, I don't know, it's like I just checked the fridge 2 minutes ago and there wasn't anything I wanted to eat, but let me check again. And they have the nerve to do all of this and then put in, like, take a break reminders and go to bed. Like those reminders are what's gonna fix the psychological patterns that have formed. Yikes.